Now a look at life in the fast lane of the information superhighway. Surf the internet with Wingham Rowan and Anna Damsky at the Cyber Cafe.
Tonight, teenage tycoon Tom says he's going to make a fortune with his sports pages on the internet. Meet the real-life Mulder and Scully. Paranormal investigators looking for ghosts on the internet. And the Smut Shack gang. What do they talk about when they're online to women around the world?
Welcome to more stories from the internet explosion in Britain. I'm Wingham Rowan. This is Cyber Cafe. Here's Anna, our queen of the keyboard. Do you know some of the lads here call you the typing drool? Are you ready for this week's challenge? Okay, where's the challenge? Here it is.
Whoa.
Go on.
Okay.
Hey.
Very nice,
It looks
yeah.
like something out of a phone box from down the road. Go on, read
Get
that.
people from around the world to send revealing photos of themselves.
Hey, revealing is the key word.
Sounds
You ready for that?
Yeah, actually, I get to go on the chat lines for this. This will be fun.
All right,
So-
good luck. We'll come back and see how you're getting on later.
Okay.
Now, a young man with ambitious plans to make lots of money on the net, but for the time being, he's just managing to drain his dad's bank account. Tom, you're 13. You've set up something called SoccerNet, which you run from home. It has 100,000 people visiting it a month, and you're hoping to go professional, to make a lot of money with it. 2 sentences. Give us the pitch for SoccerNet.
Well, it's the most up-to-date soccer site on the internet, and you can get the latest news results and reports, and it's updated 24 hours a day. And as soon as the ball's in the net, it's on the net.
How did all this start?
Well, it was back at the beginning of 1995, with basically me running in and out of our living room, copying the results off teletext, and just putting them on the internet for people all over the world to see.
And you now claim to be updating the scores for British football 24 hours a day. How much of your time is this taking up?
Well, it's practically all my time without the necessities like school, eating and drinking, but I try to trim down on those.
So how many hours a day are we talking about?
It's about 6 or 7 hours a day.
And what information are you actually putting on there? You're putting the score of every
Yeah,
game?
every English game and the important European games as well.
Do you feel there's something a bit sad here? Are you missing out on the things you should be doing in
Well,
life rather than sitting in your bedroom typing up details of football scores?
Yeah, well, I try to keep a bit of a social life as well, keep the balance.
And you've now decided that you want to approach advertisers to make it a business. What sort of response do you get when you go along to them and say, I'm 13, I've got this site, and will you sponsor it?
Well, I try not to tell them because the answer you'll get from big sponsors when you tell them you're 13 is no. But we've got 3 or 4 so far.
And just tell me how you approached them and how that conversation went with them.
Well, it normally starts off with emails, and then I pass it on to my dad when things start getting real.
What sort of response do you get from people who use the site? What do they email you to say?
Oh, we get about 30 emails a day from people all over the world, not only asking questions, but telling us information from their part of the world, and asking us questions like how can they get tickets to the match.
And you reply to all these?
Yep, I spend a couple of hours a day replying to emails.
What do your teachers think about this project?
Well, only 1 or 2 of them know about it.
Not any longer, Tom. Not if they're up at night.
Yeah, well, we're hoping we won't see this.
But what do the ones who know think?
They're quite encouraging about it.
All right, Dad, this is currently being financed entirely from your bank account. What's it costing you in terms of online time for Tom?
Well, for the sort of service we produce, it's not phenomenally expensive, but for me, it's the telephone bills are £1,000 a month. We have 3 or 4 computers in our study, and we buy every internet magazine going to keep in touch with all the developments and what our competitors and copycats are up to.
Do you worry about the amount of time Tom spends typing away on the net when he should be out doing normal
Initially I
healthy things?
did, and Tom's active all the way around. I do worry about some of the late nights, but I see it very much as an investment. I mean, in the future, people of his generation, not like mine, are going to have to know how these things work. And I see it as a business studies project as much as anything.
A lot of parents are supposed to be deeply worried about their kids being online and looking up all sorts of pornography and violent images. Yours is online typing up football scores. Is that okay by you? Do you worry about what else he's doing on the internet?
No, I think the best thing that's come out of all this is, and I think a message to all parents is that it's best to get involved with your kids on the net, because then you know what they're up to. You can guide them, you can encourage them, and they can teach you something. And then the net can be a positive benefit, not just to yourself and your family life, but also in the communication you have with other parts of the world, other cultures. Although I have to say, my wife seems to think it's strange that two adults, or one adult and one child, spend half their life putting up football results on a computer.
Tom, 5 years from now, where will SoccerNet be? Where will you be?
Well, hopefully I'll be living in a mansion with with the most popular football site on the web.
Jeremy and Dan here. Dan has been finding out about alien life forms, but I've been creating my own strange creatures via the internet.
Technosphere.
Technosphere is a virtual world with mountains, valleys, grass, trees and so on. All you have to do is build the creatures to live in it.
The creature designer.
First you decide whether you want a carnivore or a herbivore. Then you pick out a head, a body, wheels and eyes. From then on the computer takes over, deciding where your creature goes and what it does when it meets up with animals designed by other users. If you want a picture of your creature, log back on, type in a code number and bingo. Here's one I designed earlier.
Greetings from Cyberbeast ID 29647.
Nice, isn't he? I kind of based the look on Dan.
If you've ever pondered the existence of life on other stars, then the internet has a plethora of pages devoted to this very topic. But here's one that is really quite a special encounter.
Alien cultures, aliens, extraterrestrials, and the way to perceive them.
Yep, these guys are not faffing around debating the existence of aliens, they're cutting straight to the chase, and through the magic of the internet, can now let the rest of us know what they're like, and most importantly that.
Now, the time is ready for our integration into the Confederation of Planets.
And no, they're not taking the Michael. There is a distinctly new agey spiritual flavour permeating this site. There's also lots of advice on how to go about setting up a hot date with an ET using
Out-of-body experiences.
or that classic icebreaker.
Channeling.
But what I love about this site is it confirms something that I've suspected for years. The site identifies one particular species of alien.
Vegans.
Yup. Linda McCartney really is from a different planet.
Later on in the show, we're going to be catching up with these guys, not just these two, the people sitting behind them, who are all members of the Bianca Smut Shack gang. Ooh. Now, we've got here sat with us, we've got Richard and we've got Gary. Now, guys, first up, what is the Bianca Smut Shack?
It's a great place on the net. You can go there, chat with people, you can have uninhibited type sex chats, if that's your thing.
So what do you guys go there for?
You know,
myself, I go mainly for the pillow talk lounge.
Yeah.
Sex friendly. It's friendly. It's comfy. It's cozy.
no, actually, I heard about the pillow talk lounge at Bianca's from a friend.
Right.
Yes, there is a lot of uninhibited cyber sex going on there. I go there primarily for the PTL. I've browsed the other rooms. If you want to, be a one-handed typist and get a little bit of tension release, I mean, yeah, there's rooms there where you can go.
No, that's not true, because I've been to the Smut Shack, right, for research purposes. That old chestnut. For research purposes only. When I knew you guys were coming, I went there and had a look around. All it is people typing rude things backwards and forwards to each other in order to have sexual experiences. and it's cyber sex central, isn't it? It's where one-handed keyboard typists go to have a good time. Now you guys have done that, haven't you? Come on, admit it, right here on television.
I can only type with one finger, I'll admit, but
the other nine
with both hands.
You must have done. You have, haven't you?
Well, I'm a touch typist, so all 10 fingers are on the keyboard.
At all times.
I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe a word of it.
You just decided to just go there on the off chance, just for a bit of comfy chat.
Yeah, actually.
Yep, that's true. There are places on there which could make your ears curl. Or your eyes curl, depending on what you're looking at listening.
Dan, what's your favourite? The dumping stool.
The dumping stool. I had a bit of a visit, and there's something there called the dumping stool. Perhaps you lads would like to elaborate on that.
Was it a bad curry?
No,
the dumping stool is...
Come on, Gary, I think you know what the dumping stool is, don't you?
Literally, they invite you to describe the worst act of defecation you've ever had.
And what was your worst day?
I didn't post in that room, and if I did, you wouldn't want to know.
Don't mention Vindaloo.
But I mean, this is where it all happens, and you're trying to tell me you haven't done it. You haven't done it.
No need.
Right. Okay. Well, Wingham's going to be back later on to find out. So keep watching.
Anna's been using the internet to get people around the world to send her revealing photos of themselves. Halfway point. Come on.
Here we go.
Yeah, come on. They're all waiting for it. Oh no! There is no way we'll be able to transmit that.
No.
Okay. And you know where you're going next?
Yeah, I'm going to go back and see if I can get people to send pictures of themselves.
All right. You're pretty sure she didn't send it.
No, I don't think so.
After the break, more from the Smut Shack gang.
Chatterwell. 18. Chatterwell. 18.
All right, Jess?
I can't stay here, Dad.
Don't you want to go to college?
Not if I have to share my bath with this revolting mildew. I thought I cleaned it, but it just won't shift.
Leave it to me, love. You fetch up another box. Now there's something special for mildew. New Flash Mildew Stain Remover. Just squeezing its boosted bleach formula makes shifting even nasty mildew easy.
Dad, you've been busy.
Likewise. Flash Mildew Stain Remover does the hard work, so you don't have to.
100% drum and bass, 32 massive anthems and slamming remixes. 100% drum and bass, out now.
The massive 40 Degrees fashion event. It had hundreds of labels, but 40 Degrees had just one recommendation, Ariel.
Currently, there's quite a lot of interest in paranormal phenomena. I myself had a bit of a paranormal experience the other day. I went to this pub, and next thing I knew, I woke up in this gutter and I didn't have any money on me. But it's Stephen and Alicia who joined us here today. What is it you actually do?
Well, I'm a paranormal investigator. We research and analyse all information. We hold files. We try and assist the public when they come across a problem, such as a spook in a pub or anything.
It's an old beer spook, wasn't it?
Anything. We cover things from people seeing fairies, old folklore, to modern-day UFO sightings, even going back to having to do some research, to hauntings, all types of ESP. So we cover everything.
Now, you've been an investigator for 11 years now, is it?
Yes, 11 years.
But you've gone onto the internet now.
Yes, well, we actually went on the internet for two purposes. One, for advertisement of the group, which is an ideal purpose, and secondly, for obviously people to contact us if they have any experiences.
So, I mean, give us an idea of your most recent story that you got from the internet. What's that?
Well, the recent story I've got from the internet was a gentleman that contacted me about seeing a UFO. It was back in 1976 near Risley Atomic Centre.
And he waited all this time to get in touch?
Well, yes, unfortunately, it's a little long. But the good thing about it is it's very coincidental with a case we have, which was from 1978, which was also at Risley Atomic Centre, and again, very similar to his own experience. So we're actually looking into that at the moment, and I don't think there is an actual link with the 1978 incident, because I believe at one time the Warrington newspapers tried to put the two cases together and there wasn't a tie. But we are actually looking into it and we are taking it seriously, so any information helps.
Now, Alicia, you tend to deal more with the kind of spooky, ghosty end of the spectrum. Yeah. Have you had some cases that have come through?
Well, the most recent case I've covered is actually a supermarket in Knutsford, which is fairly close to Manchester. Several of the staff have experienced apparition-type creatures, beings, or whatever you want to call it. Different things being moved around the shop.
Isn't that just shelf stackers just sort of moving things?
No. There's 13 plants on a shelf inside the supermarket. Now 12 of them are artificial. There's only one that's real. That was actually taken down in the middle of the night and dragged all around the store. So it shows that there's some sort of intelligence working in there overnight. So.
What about things you actually see? I mean, have either of you? I mean, you must have seen a ghost.
We did a poltergeist case last year in August, and it was absolutely remarkable. What we were actually faced with was water formings, poltergeist water formings, which were coming across the ceiling, flowing across the ceiling, as if they were flowing across the floor. We actually went down there and we actually saw this phenomena. We actually took samples of that water and we sent it to Northwest Water. And they were kind enough to analyse it for us. Right. And the remarkable difference was between tap water and this water forming on the ceiling was the actual conductivity in tap water ranges between 60 and 70. The actual conductivity of the, should we say, the paranormal water was something like 1,970 odd.
So it's pretty special water.
I mean, it was as if this, the water on the flooring was charged with electricity, which again is in relation to poltergeist activity, because it does seem to be a heightened electrical static charge involved.
I've always wanted to know this. How realistic is the media image of ghosts? Like the movie Ghostbusters, you see the little creatures and they slime you. Is that how it is?
No, it's not at all like it is. No.
How is it? What's it really like?
Really, most ghost encounters are fairly ambiguous. There's normally not many witnesses to them. If you see something yourself during an investigation, then obviously that puts a different light on it, because if you see something yourself, and you know there's something there. So.
Now, if someone at home out there is experiencing sort of things flying around the room as they watch the show now, or being aggressively pinched or anything, how do they get in touch with you, and how much is it going to cost them?
Right, well, it's going to cost them absolutely nothing. We'll travel anywhere in the UK to investigate and research. There's no charges to the individuals.
How do you fund this?
Well, we fund ourselves in the sense of speaking. What I mean, basically, we do lecture around the country, and we get paid for that, obviously. And we talk about investigations, what we've done. So it's a process of information. It's a circle that goes round.
And they can contact you how?
They can contact us through the internet. Through Bufora online, and go through to the main details and a local angle. And if you look on the local groups, you'll find MAPIT, which is the Manchester Anomalous Phenomena Investigation Team.
Which is us.
Which is a bit of a mouthful, especially if you've had a drink. But you can contact us there. We have an email number, an email address, etc. Or we do have a 24-hour report line, which also people ring up. In some cases, we've assisted so much to a point where the family still contacts us and thank us, dearly for the help we've provided, where nobody else could have helped them.
Greetings. Following another rummage around the internet, Jeremy has found a page devoted to some of the finest get-rich-quick schemes in the world, whereas I've unearthed something really nasty. But first, Jeremy.
The last few years have seen some spectacular financial scandals hit the headlines, as a number of financial institutions hit the gutter. If you are fascinated by the escapades of Nick Leeson, then take a look at
Financial Scandals.
This is a vast resource of links to sources of information on various financial scandals. It's maintained in the UK. This site does not set out to judge those connected with the scandals, but allows interested parties to quickly locate information to help them form their own opinion. There's links to
General sources of corruption,
as well as dedicated links to specific topics that range from the mafia and organised crime to scandals like the collapse of BCCI. Want to know about money laundering? This is a great place to start, and of course there is a mountain of material to explore in connection with the trading shenanigans of Barings Bank. Fans of sound files, spangly graphics and dirty pictures will find this site a bit of a letdown. But if you're intrigued by the shuffle of money and big league fraud, this is a goldmine.
Country music, one of the biggest selling styles of recorded music in the world. A style of music that has inspired line dancing and the achy breaky heart.
Is that a bit like the achy breaky nose, Dan?
A style of music that makes me want to proclaim a fatwa against pedal steel guitars. Country music is the musical equivalent of cottage cheese, bland and likely to make me gag. So it is with little hesitation that as a worst of the net, I offer you
Jim Zim's Name That Country Tune.
With a complete disregard for the sensitivities of music lovers everywhere, Mr. Zim encourages you to listen to 6 sound files of mystery songs. Here's one I prepared earlier. Then, if you haven't fallen into a coma, name the tunes and artists in the boxes provided and electronically submit them to Jimbo. Your reward for tragically naming those tunes correctly is a CD of some bloke in a Stetson. So there you have it. Name that country tune. What an incentive to purchase thousands of pounds of multimedia computer and hook up to the internet. And you're dead, pal.
And now, back to Bianca's Smut Shack. Richard, you're such an enthusiast of the Smut Shack that you've been banned from taking your laptop computer into work with its internet connection because you weren't doing any work. Why don't you just go to a normal internet chat channel?
I just happened to stumble across Bianca's I saw it in a magazine.
What were you looking for?
I don't know. I was just inquisitive, if you like. I was just going along to see what's there. Pillow Talk Lounge was the first room I went to, and I haven't really been anywhere else since. It's just a bunch of friendly people having a good time.
And what's the most exciting moment you've ever had in the Smut Shack? Most exciting conversation?
Well, it's going to a virtual wedding, which is where couples that have been getting together on the net via Bianca's Smut Shack over several months have formed a relationship, not necessarily physical, but they just got on so well, they, if you like, bond by marriage.
You're married.
Yep.
You've told your wife you spend a lot of time when you're connected to the internet in something called the Smut Shack.
Yep.
How did that go down in the family household?
Well, until she actually saw what it was like. It was a bit of a, oh dear, you know. But the PTL is sex-free. Nobody says anything rude there. It's a nice place. Unfortunately, it is in a place called Bianca's Smut Shack, which does sort of lead you astray a bit. And there are other rooms where you've got to be over 18, 21 to be in there, really.
You're saying you've never been in those rooms?
I have a mooch around occasionally.
And what have you discovered when you've been mooching around there?
The world's a big place. If you go into Bianca's, if you like, from the front door, which is bianca.com, you go in there and it explains to you what the rooms are about. And it's up to you which ones you go into.
All right, Vanilla, you're over here from America. You're based over here because of your company. You are another regular in the Smut Shack.
Yes.
And tell us about the rooms you've been into. You must have been somewhere a little more raunchy than the Pillow Talk Lounge.
Yeah, I have. I think everyone goes into Bianca's and they're curious as to the names of some of these rooms and the content. So everyone goes in and has a little browse to see what's going on.
Yeah, well, never mind what everyone does.
And,
what do you do?
Where
do you go?
I like Richie. I hang out in the PTL, in the Pillow Talk Lounge. I also hang out in the hallway, which is another sex-free room.
Let's accept you really do spend most of your time in the Pillow Talk Lounge. What do you talk about on a typical day?
It's much like meeting your mates at the pub. You know, how's your day been? What'd you do today? Da da da. It does get borderline risque in there. I mean, there's a lot of heavy flirting, things of that type. But if people start getting a little too physical, we chase them off to another room.
Yeah, a little too physical in terms of the messages they're exchanging with each other.
Exactly.
Right, and do you engage in this online flirting?
Oh yeah, I have.
Go on, tell us, beginner's guide to online flirting. How do you do it?
Oh, beginner's guide to online flirting.
Hugs and kisses starts with it.
Yeah, it starts with hugs and kisses. Generally,
just explain this for people who have no knowledge of the internet.
Okay.
How do you put hugs and kisses into a text-based format?
Well, when you're typing, the general format is you put into italics anything that describes an action you're doing. You use plain text for anything that you're actually speaking. And generally it just drops in, you say hello to all your friends, you give all the ladies a kiss on the cheek in italics, you give all the men a handshake or a clap on the back.
Hey, yeah.
And it just kind of goes on from there. It's if anyone, says they're looking you up and down or they're giving you a long, hard stare back. I guess you'd imagine if you were doing it in real time with someone in a bar or someone in a room, you just kind of go through the same actions that you'd be doing.
You're married. What does your wife think about you spending so much time in something called a Smut Shack?
She wasn't too sure because she hears a lot of the negative press that the internet gets about sex rooms and all that. And she does what we call shoulder surfing, which is you look over the shoulder of someone who's actually on the net.
And does she happen to catch you flirting with other women in cyberspace?
Oh yeah. She doesn't mind. There's a difference between cyberspace and real time. There's a few wackos out there who can't really tell the difference, and it's kind of nature's way of saying do not touch, and I avoid those people.
You have this amazing social life for Londoners who use the Smut Shack. You all get together here at the Cyber Cafe every so often. What happens on those nights? What do you do?
Get thrown out by the police.
That's right. No, they have terminals here, so we can log on, we can speak to the people in the States, South Africa, Australia, and we're all together.
Why don't you talk to each other instead of logging on to talk to people in Australia and the States?
We don't really have the one terminal. That's right. The first Bianca Bash we went to was in a pub in the middle of Berkshire. And we literally just spent all night talking about ourselves. We just thought, let's just start posting on the shack that we want to meet on such and such a date, such and such a time, such and such a place. And people turned up. And like I say, we literally just talked about ourselves, our lives, how we got to be on the net, how we got to meet up at Bianca's, and took it from there.
Still on the subject of net users behaving badly, Anna's been getting people around the world to send her photos of themselves. Revealing photos. Is this number 3?
This is number 3. A guy in Chicago, a stenographer, sent me a picture of him in his underpants.
Yeah.
Nice wife, Fran.
Pretty excited by the looks of it. Go to number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, no! Oh, this is lovely!
Bit of cellulite, though.
Yes, and she sent that to you in the last 5 minutes.
Yep.
Go on, number 1.
And number 1, this is it. We're going there. It's taking a while because it's a big picture. Actually, when I say big, that is the operative word.
Oh, no!
I want to know who took the picture of this guy.
Well,
Big
he's
boy, isn't he?
yeah, he's no holds barred with his communication around the world. If you want to send a revealing photo to Anna, or if you want to get in touch with us about anything else, our email address is coming up.